Trump would show some interest in taking the job seriously.
But he never did.
Senator Kamala Harris, in a speech accepting the vice presidential nomination, says about President Trump's handling of the coronavirus pandemic.
Donald Trump's failure of leadership has cost lives and livelihoods.
Joe Biden accepts the Democrats' nomination for president this evening. In Russia, an anti-corruption activist and critic of President Vladimir Putin is in a coma.
Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny is on a ventilator at a Russian hospital, his spokesperson saying he fell sick after drinking a cup of tea, which she suspects had been laced with poison. The politician was on a plane flying from Siberia to Moscow when his team says he passed out and the pilot made an emergency landing.
Fox's Simon Owen. America's listening to Fox News.
W277CK Princeton. Time to take a look at community news here on 1580 103.3 WPKY. This morning's community news is brought to you by Community Medical Clinic.
If you have something you need added to community calendar, all you have to do is email that information to us at WPKYonline@gmail.com. Well, Kicking Cancer Cornhole Tournament is for Mrs. Elizabeth King, and it's this Saturday, August 22nd from 4 to 4:45 for sign-in, with bags flying at 5. Now, prizes for the top 3 finishers, just $5 a team, very affordable with donations accepted. All funds going to Mrs. Elizabeth King and her fight for kicking breast cancer. 4979 Grooms Lane, just south of Princeton, is your location. They do ask that you bring your own lawn chairs. And back by popular demand, Annie Ann's Food Truck. Annie Ann's Food Truck's going to support the Lindmark Climb to the Cure fundraiser. That's going to be back on September 9th. So put that on your calendar. It's going to be on Highway 62 West at King's Great Buys Plus parking lot. That's from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. Again, at King's on Highway 62 West in Princeton, September 9th. The Caldwell County Middle School likes to remind everybody from 9 to 3 today and tomorrow, you can pick up those middle school enrollment packets. Now, you do need to bring those back as soon as possible for that open house, and they will be calling and announcing all of the details for that in the days to come. The Caldwell County High School packets are available for pickup and need to be filled out and returned by tomorrow. Now, there is a box right out front of the Caldwell County High School for picking up packets, and then there's also a box for dropping off packets. Again, those need to be done by tomorrow. Incoming 6th graders to Caldwell County Middle School will have the opportunity to join the beginning band class during the 2020-2021 school year. The beginning band class is open to any student and is a class where students will explore their musical interest and begin learning on how to play an instrument of their choosing. No prior musical experience is required to join. Other extracurricular commitments do not affect a student's eligibility to be involved in beginner band. There is no fee to join the class, and if they don't have an instrument, they have plenty for them to use if they don't or cannot afford to buy their own. More information and enrollment forms can be found very easily and online at the CCMS school website. And junior pro cheer signups, 3rd through the 6th grade, are continuing through August 29th. You can pick up a form at Ideal Gas Station or at the Athletic Center. Now, you can mail those forms in, or you can meet the cheer coach at 270-963-6278 is the phone number. Cost is $120 a cheerleader, but if you cannot afford that, if you can only afford part of that, they will work with you, and they have people that will help sponsor you to include the Hope and Cope Center. So make sure that you give them a call, 270, that is, 963-6278. It's junior pro cheer, 3rd through 6th grade cheerleading, and that needs to be by August 29th. Princeton Softball League is about ready to get underway. Now, the league date's going to start on Tuesday, August 25th. That's just around the corner, so grab your lawn chairs and get ready to go watch some great softball. Looking forward to the annual West Kentucky Antique Power Association Tractor Drive. Now, that's this Saturday, August 22nd. The drive will begin at West Cadiz Park at 10 o'clock and a parade all the way through downtown Cadiz and a ride to Lake Barkley State Resort Park for lunch. All tractors are welcome in the ride. They do not have to be antique. It's any age tractor that wants to be in it. They're going to start unloading those tractors at 8:30 and starting to line up. And again, that parade will start and kick off at 10. Grab the kids, grab the family. It will be a lot of fun for them to watch that go go by. Now, box lunches can be reserved at Lake Barkley State Resort Park by messaging or calling Alan Watts at 270-339-1653, or, of course, through Facebook Messenger. Attention summer reading participants, your packets, summer reading packets, that is, can be picked up at the circulation desk at George Kuhn Public Library. Computer users by appointment only. It's going to be about an hour at a time, and you must call to get an appointment for that computer. 270-365-2884 to sign up. 1 hour appointments, limited space available. Now, drive-through book pickup is still there and available. 270-365-2884 to request books or use the Google form, and they're open Monday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30. Fredonia Valley Speed Show is coming up September 12th at the Fredonia Valley Riding Club, just outside Fredonia. Barrels and poles and speed show on my, along with Mr. Travis's smoked bologna. That is some famous smoked bologna right there. Just $5 a carload at the gate. You can really, it's a great value for an entire family and a whole lot of fun. That training is going to start at 4. The show will start at 6. And right along with that, keep those gardening gloves out, Fredonia. Congratulations to August Fredonia Valley Yard of the Month. That is David and Stephanie Story-Fagan. Fredonia, of course, is recognizing a different yard each month that went above and beyond. All you have to do to actually qualify is have a yard, make it beautiful inside the city limits of Fredonia. The Fredonia Activities Committee asked that fellow Fredonia residents nominate a yard again for the next month. Of course, you got to do that by the 10th of each month, and you do that by messaging Caitlin Conway through Facebook Messenger by the 10th of the month for the new Yard of the Month to be announced on the 15th. And again, congratulations, our August winner, David and Stephanie Story-Fagan. Princeton Art Guilds announced their new exhibit. Local artist Kate Hart is going to be featured August and September, Tuesday through Saturday, 11 to 2 at the Princeton Art Guild Gallery on East Main Street in downtown Princeton. An artist reception will be held on Sunday, August 30th from 2 to 3:30 at the Art Guild. So make sure you go and congratulate her. 8 and 9 No Tap is going to be on Saturday, August 29th, Northfield Family Bowling Center. A lot of your competitive leagues will start next week to include Tuesday nights, and make sure that you sign up for the youth leagues. Now, that's going to include scholarship money for each child that participates. Give Northfield Family Bowling a call and see how your child can be a part of those leagues. Now, the Caldwell Medical Center wants to remind you that they're holding drive-through coronavirus testing through the month of August at their location, 300 Medical Center Drive in Princeton. Now, that is the hospital right there at the front. You drive right underneath that awning, so that's how they can do it, rain or shine. You don't even have to get out of your vehicle. Appointments are necessary, but they are completely free. 4 to 5:30 p.m. daily. For more information to make appointments, you can give the Caldwell Medical Center a call at 365-0428. And again, if you have anything you need to put on our community calendar, all you have to do is email that information to us, WPKYonline@gmail.com.
Your WPKY Weather Edge Weather Center forecast is brought to you by Wallace Towing.
Let me ask you a question. What do you see when you look at your car? Do you just see taillights or your dog's tail wagging when you first brought them home? Do you see 4 tires or 2 tired kids in the back seat after their first day of school? Other insurance companies just see a car, but a State Farm agent sees what your car really means to you. So why not give it the protection it deserves? See State Farm agent Barkley Hudson in Princeton today.
Summer fun keeps rolling along at Beach Bend Park. Beach Bend is now open on weekends and select weekdays. Visit our website for schedule. Double your fun with 2 parks in 1 and enjoy classic amusement rides, including the famous Kentucky Rumbler roller coaster, water park, daily shows, mini golf, and more. Plus, parking tubes and sunscreen are always free. For hours, visit beachbend.com.
Beach Bend Park for the whole family. Beach Bend Park.
I just came by to show you my beautiful car that I just bought at Tri-Shoes. Y'all are always telling me to shop local, and so that's what I do every time I can. I wanted a car here that I could take up here to Tri-Shoes and get service on, and that's what they're going to do for me. My name is Dolores Campbell. I just had to share the news.
Tri-Shoes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at tricehughes.com.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, and Hume's Jewelers understands that. We're conducting an online auction for a pair of 18-karat white gold diamond halo earrings, valued at just under $4,000. This one-day online auction will run from 6 a.m. till 4 p.m. on Thursday, August 27th only. You can click on auctions in our loyal listener Big Deal store for more information. Better yet, go see these incredible, beautiful diamond earrings in person at Hume's Jewelers, brand new location at 2935A, Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville.
Ladies, all the latest trendy boutique styles are waiting for you at Magnolia 2 Boutique in Hopkinsville. We have an amazing selection of apparel that celebrates women of all ages, sizes, and styles. You'll love our jewelry, accessories, and handbags, including our new Bed Stew collection. And we have entire rooms dedicated to curvy size styles and shoes. Our selection and prices cannot be beat, and we can't wait to see you. You'll find us at 5120 Princeton Road, Hopkinsville, or shop with us online at Magnolia2, that's TOO.com.
It's time for your SportsEdge.com Sideline Report with Todd Griffin. Talking sports and more here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY and worldwide at WPKYonline.com. Here's your host, Todd Griffin.
Good morning, everyone. The Sideline Report is on the air from 1035 West Main Street in Princeton, the WPKY studios. Going to be talking some football this morning. We've got a lot of the Caldwell County football coaching staff with us. Head coach Will Barnes is here. Assistant coaches Jeff Riley and Wayne McGowan. And guys, thanks everybody for coming in today and being on the show. And Will, how are things going in practice?
Good. You know, we've kind of progressed through this time, you know, where we've had our small groups, and I think we've kind of picked up the intensity, and that's just kind of naturally happened, especially with some of these older guys, and they're chomping at the bit to get going. So hopefully we find something out good today and we can get rolling Monday.
Well, that was going to be the next question. Today is the big day. Any inside scoops, anybody? It got quiet.
Somebody got a scoop, but it's not me for sure.
Yeah, you know, people, with stuff like this, people talk and think they know one way or the other. You know, we'll find out today, so we'll see.
Well, and you've had to redo the schedule a time or two already anyway, so any concern about having to redo that once again if things change today somehow?
Yeah, you know, whenever the last meeting was, you know, emails and my phone was going off, and just kind of it was a mad scramble to try to fill, you know, when they added that last week. Yeah, I hope it's not like that this time, but if it is, you know, we'll make do and figure it out.
Talking about the schedule just a little bit real quick, you guys lost the Fort Campbell game. Been able to pick up anybody there, or what's your plans for that week?
I've sent some emails out and tried to contact a few teams that are close by and kind of similar size schools, and haven't really been able to work anything out. And you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you know we had that bye week there between Mayfield and Murray. So we'll keep it open. If we can find somebody, you know, we may play. But, you know, if it comes down to it and we have to stay off that week, I don't think that's going to hurt us.
Need to get to a break here on the show, but again, talking football this morning. Stay with us. More on the Sideline Report after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Snap a pic of your dog and head over to WPKYonline.com and submit it in the Pooch Pics Photo Contest. Presented by PetSmart, Cozy Living Interiors and Boutique, Sassy Stuff Consignment, Mary Pruitt with North Trust Insurance, The Farmer's Daughter Boutique, Save More Drugs, and Luna Veterinary Services. Enter to win a prize pack worth over $250 for your puppy from PetSmart. Contest ends August 26th.
Need cash fast? ABC Finance is open with social distancing implementations in place. They believe it's more important now than ever to get a handle on your finances.
Hi, this is Jody Lamb at the Princeton ABC Finance location.
And this is Todd Morris at the Hopkinsville location.
At ABC Finance, we don't just provide loans, but we also provide valuable advice to help you get your credit in better standing.
Our friendly team of professionals has your best interest in mind. We celebrate with you when your finances improve.
We encourage you to like our Facebook page, ABC Finance Company. Many of those useful tips are posted daily on our page, including tons of community info and motivation for the day.
To view social distancing guidelines and safety measures, like and follow ABC Finance Company on Facebook. ABC Finance is located off Fort Campbell Boulevard in Hopkinsville next to O'Charlie's, in Princeton and the Princeton Plaza. Apply for loans online or simply give them a call. They'll take your application over the phone. ABC Finance, all loans subject to normal credit approval.
Our sports is giving you an edge. Now, we're going to give you a view of Big Blue.
Your local McDonald's wants you to know that they're ready to serve you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They've always had their drive-thru, and now they're offering curbside pickup service as well. To avoid the wait in the drive-thru, you can download the McDonald's app and try curbside pickup. They appreciate your patience and understanding during this time. We are all having to adjust to this new way of life. It's temporary, but in the meantime, enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner at your local McDonald's.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's here. The Loyal Listener Big Deal Store is online and waiting for you to shop and buy gift certificates to local businesses. Go to WPKYonline.com. Click on Loyal Listener Big Deals. Here you'll find dozens and dozens of gift certificates. Some you'll even be able to redeem from your smartphone. Shop and buy 24 hours a day and save a ton of money in the process. Save on oil changes, dining out, haircuts, car washes, and more. Our store never closes, but you better hurry. You never know how long each deal will last.
And we're back on the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Caldwell County football coaches Will Barnes, Jeff Riley, and Wayne McGowan in the studio with us today. And brought you guys in today. Of course, it was just over a year ago we lost Coach David Barnes, and didn't want that anniversary to pass without you guys having a chance to come in and talk about Coach. And everybody's got a Coach Barnes story, no matter who you are, and thought maybe you guys might like putting some of those out there. If you might have to work on them a little bit, but yeah. Well, your dad was always really good to me, and certainly that caught us all by surprise last year. But that game against Christian County, I was glad we were playing those guys and Coach Lovelace, and that game will always stick out to me, and not just because we won the game, but just how that night went down.
Yeah, definitely, and he loved you, Todd, and appreciated everything you did for us, and what you still do for us, and it just kind of worked out. Dad and Coach Lovelace were really good friends, and Coach Lovelace was great that whole week. He was an honorary pallbearer, and he calls Mom and calls me to check up on us. So he's just a great guy, and I hate that. I'm glad we were playing him because it was good that but I want him to be successful too and win some games. So it was a special night for sure.
Well, call me crazy. It was a great game, and it was hard hitting, and there was some trash talking going on, just like any other game. Guys, I really got the sense after the game that the Christian County kids and coaches were glad we won, and I don't think I've ever been to a ball game where I could say that.
That may have been the case. It was a unique night, unique football game, and the result, the outcome with us winning the football game was. You always want to win a game, and I know Coach Barnes has been proud of us. It was just like a huge reunion or something, after that football game with the kids and the coaches as well. So it was really unique, and like Coach Will Barnes said, Coach Lovelace was really good that week, and working with us on things and whatever. But it was good to play those guys. Known Coach Lovelace for a long time, and. Of course, I played against Coach Lovelace when he was at Mayfield, but he was a senior when I was a freshman, I believe. So I've known him for a long time, and it was just a unique night, I guess is all I can say about that.
And, Jeff, the way we won the game, a couple of kick returns, a kickoff return and a punt return, I mean, just one of those games that when you go back and look at it, maybe we shouldn't have won looking at the stats, but those big plays kind of turn things.
Yeah, I think Barron Wells had a career night that night. But no, I kind of thinking about what you just asked, I think if you're in this game long enough, you understand that games come and go, and you don't always have a special moment type like that. And even if you're on the losing end and you experience a special moment, you can understand while you're disappointed that you didn't win a game, there are more games, but you don't get those moments very often. I think probably they understood that, but that was a crazy night. And I was probably as nervous before that football game as any game we've coached or played in, just because you don't know how kids are going to react after having that kind of week, and you don't know, your practice schedule, your routine's all off, plus the emotion of losing somebody that you cared about, like we cared about David.
Well, that was such a tough week emotionally for the entire community. How did you guys get the players to focus on football that week?
Those kids are pretty tough, and they're really resilient. And I've said that numerous times about that bunch last year, to be able to do that. And Coach Barnes was kind of coach that those kids were all his sons. I felt, and it hurt them, really hurt their hearts as well as the coaching staff as well. So those kids, I don't know, man. You say a whole lot about teenage kids, boys or whatever, but those kids bounce back, and they were thrown into a pretty bad situation right there, and they were able to keep their heads, all the emotions that were charged up in them. But yet and still, they came out and performed. They did. So those guys are to be commended, and the coaching staff be commended. It was a tough deal. It really was. But there and still, we were able to pull through that thing and make it. We made it through that.
And not just that week, but Will, you guys had a great season for 11 games. Even the 3 losses. I mean, those were 3 ranked teams.
Yeah, and kind of when you look at that, we didn't have a whole lot of seniors last year, but the ones that we did have were great leaders, and I think that's they were the ones that said, we're going to get through this thing, we're going to play hard, and we're going to have a good year. And I don't think that they got a lot of notoriety that some of the other classes we've had. But to me, that's one of the better classes, just from the leadership standpoint. I mean, you look at Ben Holt and Luke Stallings, what they were able to do off the field, the whole year, as well as what they did on the field. And De'Eric's the same way. Those guys we really relied on heavily.
And you guys with a big win down at Murray last year, I thought that was maybe the highlight of the season, if the Christian County win wasn't just an outstanding. If you followed the Tigers last year, man, you got your money's worth every week. I mean, it was a fun season. I mean, you go back and look and people say, well, you lost 3 games, and nobody ever wants to lose, but I thought we played about as well as we could in those games. And again, you look at Mayfield, Hopkinsville, and then the Murray team that you'd already beaten once. Those are some pretty good teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think people realize how good the Murray team was, that we beat the first time. And, they were a really talented team. And, they had some injuries in that playoff game, but, they still had some good guys out there. And, they had a good team last year.
Well, and one thing we kind of talked about the other day, you guys have kind of had a history, at least, Coach David Barnes' teams were always kind of known for knocking off teams maybe they shouldn't have. And you look back over the last few years, even maybe the last decade, you guys have picked up some wins over teams that were really pretty good. And you go back and look, and 4-year run against Paducah Tillman, a 4-year run against Henderson County. Those things aren't easy to do.
No, absolutely. Those are really good teams, and that's a credit to. I haven't been here for all of those, but it's a credit to the coaches and the kids. When you have sustained success like that, it's not just one or two good players or one or two good classes. That shows a sign of a really good football program. So that's a testament to all the hard work that's been put into this thing.
Well, and I think when I remember Coach Barnes, Coach David, at the end of the year, he was always so disappointed after that final loss. And it took me a while to figure out that I don't think he was as disappointed that we'd lost the game. I think he was disappointed that his season was over. And I think Coach Barnes, I think he'd had a 26-week season if he just wanted that next game to come up next week.
Hated taking up equipment. I hate taking up equipment.
And so I think he was just disappointed that the season was over and he didn't have a game to look forward to the next week.
You're exactly right. He loved, watching a little bit of film on Saturday, and he'd call me even when I wasn't coaching here and say, I don't know how we're going to block such and such, or I don't know how we're going to beat such and such. And, by the time you talked to him Thursday, he was ready to go. And he just loved going to practice, and he loved everything about it. So you're right. I think and he was competitive, so he didn't like to lose. And then, on top of that, the season's over. You're right. I think he really just, he liked the whole process of it.
I was always amazed at how I could go to practice and talk to him, and he could get out of the conversation to choose somebody who maybe wasn't doing what they were supposed to in practice, and then come right back to me and just pick up the conversation right where it left off. That was maybe that's a coaching thing.
Yeah, he was pretty unique in that, and a lot of times early on, and I guess I kind of grew on him and he on me, I guess. But you'd be sitting there watching the same exact drill he's watching, and you think, yeah, I thought the kid did all right, and he's just tearing them up, like, I didn't even see that happen, I'm like, then later on, you're like, when we were doing, pat and go, why come that kid, what'd you get on, and they're like, well, he didn't do this, and that. I said, oh, okay. So that's things you kind of pick up from him, and, you kind of start looking for then, but you're like, man, I'm watching the same exact thing you're watching, and I didn't see that.
It's good when the kids do it.
Yeah.
I tell you who was good about it. Ben Holt was good about it last year. Ben, of course, I stand back there in the defensive side of things and put that ball down. Ben would come up and tell me stuff. Say, hey, watch, this isn't right, is it? Or is it supposed to be this way? He was pretty good about feeling. One time he come up to me and we weren't having a very good practice. He said, Coach Barnes be going crazy right now. I said, well, go crazy a little bit then.
Yeah. Well, and I think he always had a relationship with the quarterbacks. And, Will, maybe you can talk about that because you actually played quarterback for your dad.
Yeah, and, that was interesting and fun and something that I really enjoyed, and I think he enjoyed too. I think we only had maybe one rough spot there.
Yeah,
we could get Rachel Barnes in here to tell that story.
You had a pretty good advocate, a pretty good agent.
Yeah. But it was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed that a lot. And then I think you're right. Just he had good relationships with everybody, but he with calling the offense and kind of being involved with the quarterback, he had really good relationships with all those guys that have played.
More than once, though, I'd be on the sideline, and you could see that a quarterback hadn't thrown it to the right spot or hadn't looked at the right guy, and Coach was waiting on the quarterback when he got back over there. If it was an Elijah Sindelar or whoever, he was waiting on him.
Oh, yeah. No, he was going to coach you hard, and I will say he probably got a little more lax when he moved here. And I'm telling you, Davis County, the kid that was the quarterback when I was a freshman, I mean, he got after him pretty good. But he just he had high expectations, and one was going to hold you to those expectations.
So you're saying he was more excitable at Davis County than he was here?
I would say yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I would say yes. Maybe my mom could verify that, but I would say yes.
Well, I think talking about highlights of Coach David Barnes' career, I would say going to the state championship game in 2012 was right there. Of course, that was a tough loss, but it's kind of funny because one of the lowlights, if that's a word, maybe came in the Mayfield game that same season down there. I think everybody left that last game of the regular season kind of disappointed and really didn't know where the team was going, and 5 weeks later you're in the state championship game.
I mean, I think you look back at senior leadership, and that group was very similar to last year's group, and there weren't very many of them. And you had 2 or 3 kids that just kind of took it by the reins, Tez and Cole and Ty Butts and, a couple other kids involved, Cameron Brandon and Jaquavion and Joey Davis. Yeah, those were the seniors that year. And you just kind of it was kind of Tez kind of took over the offense, and Cole, they'd been working all year, kind of took over the defense a little bit. And before you know it, I can remember driving home from Louisville, and Aaron looked at me, he's like, man, we're about to go coach in the state championship game. Like, yeah, who would have thought after the Mayfield game, right?
Yeah. But Mayfield's kind of been, they've given a lot of people problems that way through the years.
Oh, yeah.
It's a tough place to play, and, if you don't play well, they can kind of make you look bad at times, and you have to try to bounce back from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that team did. That team really did. You talk about after the game and in the locker room, it was pretty quiet. It was very quiet in there, and the looks on some of those kids' faces and their eyes told you a story of, this bunch may be finished, But how, there again, those young men bounced back and went on a 5-week run, and we were playing in Bowling Green in December.
But how many times did Coach Barnes say, I don't know if we'll win another game? And then you guys win
that was the statement numerous times that night. Yeah, that was.
Talking with football coaches Will Barnes, Jeff Riley, and Wayne McGowan on the show this morning. Need to get to another timeout here, but we'll be back with more after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Get into shape and feel good at Trilogy Performance Sports. Trilogy offers a wide range of family-friendly classes as well as personal training, yoga, gymnastics, sports training, cardio, and weightlifting. Trilogy has something for everyone. Trilogy now offers an app with online workouts, live classes, nutrition tracking, and more. Search Trilogy Performance Sports in your app store. Use sign-up code 1824. For app info and more, follow them on Facebook.
If you really enjoy the stories you hear on Traveling the Bluegrass, we'd like to invite you to listen to the whole visit uncut. Just type youragadge.com into your browser. You'll find Traveling the Bluegrass uncut stories in long form, so you don't miss a thing. You'll also find lots of ag news and farm pictures from across the Commonwealth. You can also find all the Kentucky communities that Traveling the Bluegrass can be found. Remember to visit youragadge.com.
We are back on the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Will Barnes, Wayne McGowan, Jeff Riley in the studio with us today talking football and remembering former Tiger coach David Barnes. And I remember a game up at Louisville when we were playing DeSales. And this is one of those things that I guess I would only, pick out. But I noticed when we were warming up, we were wearing our blue jerseys.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wait a minute. We're the road team. And then DeSales came out in brown. So I walked over to Coach Barnes, and I'm like, are we wearing the right jerseys? And he just kind of shook his head. So we'd brought the wrong jerseys to the game.
Well, that's probably as much my fault as it is his. I just put them out that night.
Let's go. Yeah.
Nobody ever. I didn't think another thing about it until he got there and said, "Why are we in blue?" Oh crap, man! I guess it's because that's what I put in the lockers.
Well, that's what we'd worn all playoffs. So we'd have stuck with it.
We won 2 or 3, and we just stayed with it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because we played 5 playoff games that year. And we wore the blue jerseys every game because we had 3 home games.
Yeah.
And then we wore them at DeSales when we really weren't supposed to.
Yeah.
And then we just happened to be the home team at state, so we got to wear them in the state championship game too.
That was pretty cool.
I wish it was a good, psych out, superstitious story, but other than just Coach Riley gets the wrong jersey, because that's what he done the 3 weeks before.
But Coach was, Coach was like, I hope nobody says anything, but I don't think anybody ever said a word.
I never heard anyone say referees or anyone, so yeah. It worked.
But a rare situation there where both teams are wearing their home jerseys, but they were brown and we were blue, so it kind of worked a little bit. To me, that kind of thing is cool in college when I see colleges actually do that. UCLA and USC do it a lot. And maybe that's something we should actually plan sometime.
Somebody else might make a bigger deal out of it than DeSales did.
But that's just always interested to me that, that happened. And I remember we had a home game one night, and I can't remember who the player was, but he caught a pass, and he went down just short of the goal line. And I was standing right there at the goal line. The referee marked it right where it should have been. Well, Coach Barnes is yelling at the referee, and then he's yelling at me, asking whether or not he got in. And I'm like, no, we actually didn't score. And he's like, are you kidding me? Or words to that effect. I'm like, no, I swear, we didn't score there. He actually went down and his knee hit before the ball crossed. But I think that just goes back to being a competitor.
Yeah, you're right. He was a competitor, that's for sure. I'm sure you got reference for a lot of different things.
Yeah. Well, you had the Kurt Martin catch would probably put you on the spot after that. You had a photograph of the Kurt Martin catch. I'm sure you gained a lot of credibility for your eyesight that night too.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Actually missed a touchdown that night, but it seems like we've ended up that way a couple of times. Wayne, I think you caught a pass against Mayfield in the back of the end zone that everybody swears you had a foot down.
Yeah.
We didn't get it, so
that night it was heated game, and I don't know, it was 6 or 7-0 at that point, and I caught that pass right there in the second quarter, going into halftime, and referee called me out, but the line was here, and you could see my cleat mark and the drag in bound, and I just kind of remember that night. I don't know why, but I think there was like state troopers there. I know the police officers were there, but I think Johnny Jackers almost had to be detained that night. It wasn't a pretty sight, and of course, it kind of happened on the end where we used to scoreboard in. We used to have that old trailer down there, so it happened in that end zone, and we thought, oh my, he might get taken downtown tonight. He wasn't happy as well as the home base, but it's been big plays like that. So and then that same end zone, Tez makes the catch, So it's a lot of things going on down there in that end zone.
Well, what was it about those Murray teams that kind of gave us trouble? We got them sometimes, they got us sometimes, but those seemed like they were always a battle.
I think defensively, they were big and fast and really athletic at all the spots, and that's if you look, those teams give us trouble, and they give anybody trouble. Yeah. But they can probably speak a little bit to the other part of it. I wasn't coaching.
Well, if you can stop the run, 5 guys in the box, that gives us problems. Yeah. And I think that. And what was that that outside linebacker's name? That we just couldn't get him blocked that one night.
Fields kid.
Yeah, couldn't throw a screen out there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Fields.
Fields kid. I mean, seemed like they just had kid after kid, and they had a pretty good form. They were good up front.
Yeah, they were.
I mean, they were. Yep. Fast on defense, very physical. I mean,
they were tough. They were tough.
And they got about 40 seconds on the play clock.
Yeah, I remember at least.
Go to the sideline, get the play, talk about it, come huddle up, talk about it. Then let's run the play.
And it's not just us. We can't take credit. They did that to Owensboro Catholic a couple times too when they were in that other district. Yeah.
So if it worked for you, then.
They've got a pretty good reputation of kind of being the underdog. They like that underdog role. Like.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and anytime you have to play a team a second time, it's always tough.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I think especially if you win the first one and it's a close game.
Yeah.
Psychologically, when you leave the game, the kids are just different. The winning team, the kid just checks it off. All right, we won. Let's move to the next thing. And the losing team, you kind of if you're a competitor, you got that little feeling in your gut, and you kind of want a chance to redeem yourself. And I think that's one of the toughest coaching jobs to do is get those kids say, okay, it's not going to be the same team. They're going to be.
It's always going to be a different game that second time around.
Yeah.
I know it happened at Heath.
Yeah.
I don't know, 07, 8, somewhere around it, 07. And, we'd gone down and played well against Heath and won.
06.
Yeah, in Tree County. Yeah. So, it's tough. Playing somebody twice is just super tough.
Yeah.
Somebody mentioned watching game film earlier, and I always thought David Barnes was great at being able to watch 3 or 4 games and just diagnose what the other team was going to do and what we needed to do to counter it.
Yeah, he was really good at watching film. He could pick out subtle little things that would give keys that I can't do. So, he was really good at that, and he's also good at finding random things on the sideline and in the stands.
That was his favorite thing.
Yeah, I think I fell victim to one of those.
My wife has got a couple shots in the getting a little excited on the sideline. The red dot. He's like, "Hey, who is that?"
Yeah,
who is that?
Oh yeah.
His favorite may be Warwick though.
Oh yeah, Warwick. Yeah, probably so.
Well, we always said that Warwick ran for more yards than Jalen.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Oh yeah. Man, we have video evidence of that.
Yeah.
I mean, he'd be like, hey, you'd be watching film, like, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
You're looking at the game.
Yeah,
and then there's something off in the corner or somebody on the sideline.
Two kids wrestling somewhere.
Kids,
Like, what are you looking at? He'd rewind it. Look at that. Y'all see that? Like, I'm watching the film, Coach. Look at these two kids over here fighting. Look at them.
Watch this catch.
Oh, man.
The kids play football in the end zone. He rewinds. Look at this catch over here.
Like it's a run play. Look at all these kids over here.
But how many times had he watched those films each game to pick all that stuff out?
Oh yeah, numerous times. Oh yeah.
But that's a big deal. I think the good teams are really good at that. I thought, to me, Mayfield is always big at that. They can watch film and they can go in at halftime and make adjustments. And to me, that's a big part of football.
Oh yeah, it absolutely is. Preparing, before that Friday night. The people on the outside only see Friday nights. We start on the weekends getting things ready. You win a ball game on Friday, it's Friday's done, ball game's won, Saturday's here, Sunday's here, Monday, so it's back to preparing for the next opponent.
Will, how did your dad kind of get into the spread offense thing? And because he ran the wing T first at Davis County. Were you around during some of those times?
Yeah, so my freshman year at Davis County, really, it started a couple of years before. He was kind of doing a little wing tee, doing a little spread stuff. He had a quarterback there that was really good. Was a good runner and good athlete. So he's kind of doing a little bit of both. So my freshman year, we actually went to wing tee camp, but we were basically all spread by that point. And a lot of that is credit to Tony's stuff. And he started his business and. Around 2003, I think. So I think Dad, once Tony started his business, his consulting business, Dad kind of hopped in with both feet, and it's kind of been going ever since.
Because I used to always ask your dad, I'm like, Tony Franklin always has a running quarterback. Why don't you guys ever have a running quarterback? And he's like, well, Tony can recruit his quarterback. So.
Yeah, and he's got, he's recruited a backup, and I think that's what Dad was always kind of leery of was getting the first guy banged up, and what are you going to do with your backup? So,
but it kind of became known, at least here at Caldwell County, for the spread offense and scoring a lot of points.
Yeah, I think if you look at since 2006 and up until even now, obviously his fingerprints are all over what we're doing now. Still, you might be Mayfield. Offensively speaking, probably is right there with us, but we've been one of the best offenses in Western Kentucky since 2006, and really, a lot of those years, probably one of the better offenses in our class in the state. So, that's a lot to do with him and Tony.
Well, and last year I thought for the first time you guys kind of had a running quarterback. It was the first time I've seen you guys call a lot of actual running plays for the quarterback.
Yeah, all of them have really been athletic. But, Russ is kind of your prototypical runner, the way I kind of look at him. He's a physical kid, and, I think that's what he likes to do that. So, that was definitely, more in our game plan this year. And I think mine and Dad's philosophy was starting to change on it too with the quarterback is, you can run them and they can protect themselves, and it's not maybe as big of a deal as, we thought 5 or 6 years ago.
Going back several years, how apprehensive was your dad and the coaching staff and everybody when you're going into the season and you've got a freshman quarterback and a freshman running back? Elijah Sindelar and Jalen Boyd.
Yeah, that was pretty. Yeah, there was something there. Being freshmen, you knew those kids were both talented, but they're still 14-year-old freshmen. No varsity experience, no high school experience, and those kids responded really well. They really did. They grew throughout their career here, from freshman to senior year, and did a lot of great things for Caldwell County football.
And all they did that first game down at Callaway County was score 80 points.
Yeah, that was something. I'm telling you. Track meet broke out that night.
They thought it was going to be easy after that.
Yeah.
Well, that's just the thing. Everybody's looking at, you've got these freshman kids out there, but, ended up being pretty good, and both of them went on to play quite a bit.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Jalen's a NAIA All-American.
Yeah.
Coming back, I think, he's going to be the guy at Lindsay. And of course, Elijah had a good career at Purdue and was on the edge of getting drafted and, all that stuff. So.
Well, and
can't beat that.
Nobody will ever convince me that the night Elijah Sindelar got hurt as a senior against Murray, that we weren't about to take Murray to the woodshed at Tiger Stadium, and that really changed that game when he got injured. And to me, that was one of the better games I've seen him come out and play.
I think so too. I think as far as early in the game, I think from the get-go he was locked in, and it was almost like that state championship run. That's kind of what it reminded me of, just the way he played and was locked in. And it was 14-0 pretty quick, and I don't think they had very many answers. And it's a shame.
Talking this morning with football coaches Will Barnes, Jeff Riley, and Wayne McGowan. Need to get to one more break, though, on the show. We'll be back with more after this on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
I just came by to show you my beautiful car that I just bought at Tri Shoes. Y'all are always telling me to shop local, and so that's what I do every time I can. I wanted a car here that I could take up here to Tri Shoes and get service on, and that's what they're going to do for me. My name is Dolores Campbell. I just had to share the news.
Choice Hughes is here for you and any questions you may have about your vehicle. Buy your next vehicle from the home team. Find them on Highway 91 North, Princeton, or at choicehughes.com.
We at the Edge Media Group believe in the power of prayer. That's why we're asking you to pray for our community. It's simple. Just record yourself on your phone and email us your prayer. Give your name and record your prayer. We'll do the rest. Email your prayer to prayerswpky@gmail.com. We'll broadcast a community prayer on this station every day around 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening. Before our morning prayer at 10, we will ring bells as requested by Governor Andy Beshear. We will get through this together.
This is the Sideline Report on 1580, 103.3 WPKY. Thanks for joining us this morning. Tiger football coaches Will Barnes, Jeff Riley, Wayne McGowan in the studio with us today. And guys, I know we've got some more David Barnes stories to tell, so everybody give me your best.
As a football story, I think just that 12 season was really good because, when we moved here, when we talked about it before he took the job, he said, this is going to be a better opportunity for you athletically and in the the school and the community. It's just a really good move, and he wanted to come back because he's from here, and he said, we can win a state championship at Caldwell County, and it was good to see that kind of, we didn't win a state championship, but to kind of, he set that out in 2006, and we're able to get there in 2012, and we're a couple of plays away, and that picture that you took in the regional final is a really special picture to our family, and so we appreciate you, Todd. But to me, that's the best, other than playing for him, that 12 season, because that's, everything kind of came to fruition and, got to that state championship game.
Well, and that's one of those things that we talked about earlier after the loss to Mayfield. You just never really know when one of those runs are going to come.
Yeah, he coached for 30-some years, and, that was his one run at it, and I'm glad he got there and got the opportunity.
And if that championship game is a minute longer, I think we win it too.
Oh, I agree. I agree completely.
Jeff, what's one of your favorite memories of Coach Barnes?
There's a ton. I tell you, just because this is the one, it may not be the best one, but this is the one I can come up with. We were talking about the other day. There's a kid at E-Town that, and it's just talking about perspective of how you kind of see kids when you compete against somebody, and how competition is just a snapshot of who somebody is. And so this kid at E-Town, we go down, play that really good game down there, and the year after they beat us on a Hail Mary up here, and this kid's just had a phenomenal game. And Dave's like, I don't know about that kid, man. He seems this way or he seems that way. And come up here the next year and they come to us and we kick it to him right off the bat and he takes it to the house and we're like, yeah, there's that darn kid again. And Dave was like, man, I'm tired of that guy or whatever. Well, then these Wayne and David, did you go? Were you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, those guys went and coached in the All-Star game, that East-West All-Star game or whatever it was. You come in, Dave said, man, he said, you know what? That little guy at E-Town's all right. I said, what are you talking about? You mean the guy that's throttled us the last couple of times? He's like, yeah, man. He said, I like that kid. I said, shoot, I could do something. I like him, man. He's a good guy. And he just, it just kind of stood out as how kind of when you compete against somebody, you get one side of them, but then when you're around them in a different situation and it's not as competitive, that, you can say, he's a good student. He does this. He's like, he's funny. He said, he kept me in stitches all week. So it's pretty good. It's a pretty good, I don't know, ambassador of the game kind of thing that you can kind of get out and you can be mad at somebody for doing well against you, but ultimately you just get a small piece of who people are when you compete and you get a chance to kind of get to know people when you get outside of it a little bit. So that's one of those I've been thinking about anyway.
Wayne, how about you?
I guess mine's kind of a little hilarious, I guess. 06 and the first summer they're here. Coach Barnes and everybody's here and family's already moved in, and I think it's either Pennington or Black. I think Pennington down on the Butler lawn, and of course somehow Coach Barnes and I ended up manning a grill cooking pork chops, and of course I just take this season and I'm just throwing it on our heavy, and. Of course, he said, man, I like the way you put that seasoning on that stuff. He said, I like it like that. So I thought, well, oh, good. He likes the way I cook. So, I'm still new, Yeah. And then we got the job of helping set up a tent there on the lawn there. And, of course, we're driving these stakes in and putting these ropes around. And there's this metal pole that's attached to one of these ropes or something. Of course, I'm down there hammering. It's 100 degrees. And we're both sweating like crazy. And all of a sudden, I just feel something hit me in the back of the head. I was like, good gosh. Did you see those little stars? I was like, what is that? And I look up, and he's got this look like, oh, my God, I've killed him. So he had this pole, and for whatever reason, it slips out of his hand and just hits me in the back of the head. I'm thinking, well, maybe this guy don't want me around. I don't know. He's trying to kill me down here, And, of course, we had a laugh. Of course, I had a big old knot on my head, but we had a big old laugh at that. And throughout a couple more years, the further down the line, we would refer back to that story. But, just that little moment, just that little moment of that happening and, just having something to talk about in later years. But, that was a pretty interesting day there.
Well, and one other story I wanted to tell, David Barnes held the single-game rushing record at Caldwell County for 30-something years, and then he gave another kid a chance to break that record. So Brandon Sigler, I think, ran for 329 yards one night, and that broke David's record. So, it's he was actually willing to give somebody that chance, though, because, anytime anybody would kind of get close to a record, Gary or I, one of us would slip by the coach and say, hey, just in case you want to know, so-and-so's close. Because, sometimes you get different responses. Sometimes they're like, oh, really? Well, I'll see what I do. And sometimes it's like, I don't care about that. We're trying to win a game, So you always kind of approach it, gingerly, just to kind of, hey, here's some information for you in case you want to know.
But he was elated about that, about Brandon breaking that record. There again just shows Coach Barnes' character. That didn't mean anything to him, that record. Just seeing another kid or just seeing a kid in general be successful and excel.
But talking about the record book, especially on the offensive side, we have to rewrite that thing about every year because, the offense keeps putting up numbers.
Yeah.
Well, if we have to rewrite these passing records, we'll be doing all right. That's pretty lofty.
Yeah. Pretty good ceiling there.
It's going to be tough for somebody to get those Elijah Sindelar numbers because you literally have to start every game from your freshman year through your senior year, and that just doesn't happen very often. Like I said, that's kind of the anomaly, having all those freshmen out there making big plays for you. Mm-hmm. And again, the first game down at Callaway County, we won that game 80-62.
Right.
So I mean, that's a lot to live up to.
Yeah, it gives you a little bit of an idea of just how good they really were. That's not the norm. That's the exception. Those guys were for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, the 2020 season coming up, September 11th against Crittenden County. Let's keep our fingers crossed that that's still the season opener.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we're getting rolling on Monday, and we're looking forward to it and excited about what we've got coming back and getting out there and maybe doing some more football stuff. What we've been doing isn't all football, so we're hoping we can do that Monday.
How has practice kind of gone for you guys? I know some things you still can't do, some things you can kind of do. How's it going?
Lots and lots of agility stuff. What we've been doing, we throw it around just a little bit. You use football very little. But there again, it's just been trying to get these guys back in shape and just get their legs back under them a little bit. And like Coach Will said, hopefully we can go right into this thing Monday and get rolling.
Jeff, how's practice been going for you guys?
Well, I spent most of my time in the weight room since we kind of opened it back up. So we kind of run them in the weight room and try to get them a good little 30-minute workout in before we send them down to the field. And, these guys, they'll rotate with their group down to the field and have a coach waiting for them. So I tell you what, practice has been a lot for me is a lot of cleaning. So after every group, we got to go back through and kind of redo the weight room and clean and spray. And
don't you say that too loud. They'll have you cleaning the
house.
Maybe
she's not listening, right? But if she gives me one of those little spray bottles, it's pretty
it's good. It's easier.
That's been the biggest difference for us is we've had to adjust that way. And but I've had some younger kids, a good group that are kind of promising, a couple lineman kids that we think are kind of on the bubble on getting on the field on Friday night. So I think it's gone pretty well and pretty dedicated. Those guys don't miss a whole lot. So we're off to a good start, but I think like everybody else, we're ready to kind of get the helmets on and let's go to practice, man. Let's go out and do our thing and get on the field and spend a couple hours getting better and get off and get this thing rolling.
The KHSAA Board of Control meeting this morning, so hopefully word will be sent down and we can start making plans for football. And guys, thanks so much for coming in, and it was fun to talk about Coach Barnes, and we could do another show, and I know there are more stories out there.
Oh, yeah. The SEC might get, if we got too deep.
That is Will Barnes, Jeff Riley, and Wayne McGowan, and thanks to them for coming in today. This is Todd Griffin. You've been listening to the Sideline Report here on 1580, 103.3 WPKY.
Celebrating 70 years of community service. We're 1580, 103.3 WPKY Princeton.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. More layoffs due to the coronavirus outbreak. New unemployment claims are back up to 1.1 million.
If you total all of this up through the pandemic, we're now at about 57.2 million for the amount